of the most important things is you never know who you're going to meet. So I feel like positivity and kindness is really big. That's a really big virtue to have, especially in this day and age. You can meet somebody on the street and they could be a $1 million company owner, so I feel like just being kind and positive to everybody is really important because, like I say, you never know who you're going to meet. That can open the way for, other opportunities, other relationships down the line. I mean, the wrong escape, like I mentioned, is like going out past 12, every day or on the weekends, going and doing things you're not supposed to do. And I always tell my sister, like, don't go into college being somebody that you're not. Stand on your morals. Stand on the things that your parents always taught you. That's one thing that always resonates in my head is like, what will my parents think about me going out at 2 a.m. Because I know I've never been that type of kid to just like stay out all night,
Right.
So, find an escape, find a positive escape, but I mean, make sure you have the right people in your corner.
Yeah.
So it looks like, sure, somebody could be telling you this and stab you in your back, man.
Classic example of using what I call dark negative energy in a positive way. Like, I think the desire to do something is a strong motivating energy force.
Yeah.
But the anger is an even more powerful. It's like I don't know, you too young for Star Wars or whatever.
I never really got into that.
Okay, but it's like the dark force, right?
Yeah.
But if you channel it properly, it can give you a large amount of energy, physical and mental, to overcome. Yo, what's up, everybody? This is the End-to-End Podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. Yun, affectionately called Ninja or Prolific Ninja by my family and friends because my fans are my friends. I want you to call me Ninja too. This is the End-to-End Podcast, the alpha to the omega, the beginning to the end, talking about life, motivation, drive, self-improvement, success, and offering you morsels in this all-you-can-eat buffet called life. Here we are, back in the studio, end of May, just turned 50, had my 50th birthday celebration. You know what happened? I celebrated by myself. Kind of crazy, man. Kind of crazy. No, man, had an unexpected trip out of town with my son playing hoops. So, you have to be adaptable. One of the keys to success. And had to head out of town. We had this big, massive car rally celebration planned. 50 exotic supercars rolling to San Antonio, Austin, sponsored by my crypto token, Legacy X token. And had to bail out, man, last minute, family first. So anyway, but glad to be back in the studio. If you're new to the show, before we get into the action here, I want to start my show as I start my day every morning when I wake up. If you're new to the show, I give thanks to God and the universe just for another day to be inspirational, hopefully make an impact. So I want to thank you all out there in End-to-End Podcast Nation for listening, liking, sharing, commenting, and following. And if you're new to the show, I do this podcast on my own dime, on my own time. So we spend a lot of money, whole team here, have a special guest today. A lot of people put their investment in here to bring great content to you, hopefully. So if you learned anything, if you found value in the show, it made you think, made you contemplate about your life, your path to success, please do share the show. As I like to say, if you're knowledge swole, share the show. That is how we grow. We're tight on time today, so I'm going to jump right into it. We have a very, very special guest on the show. But before I give you the intro, typically on guest shows or guest episodes, I like to bring somebody in a little bit older, a little bit more, has accomplished a certain degree of success or inspiration or have changed and impacted a lot of people's lives. But I also wanted to start giving the perspective of somebody young that has shown qualities and talents and characteristics of being on the path to success, so that we can have our young audience relate to those that are on their way. And so with that, I met this young man not too long ago, but with my law firm, we're launching a campaign on cancer awareness, and we're working with college athletes across the state of Texas to raise cancer awareness. So this young man came into my office. I've known him for several few months, and was impressed by his attention, his motivation, his drive, just the things he's doing, and saw that he had some qualities of success. It doesn't help that he's also a Division I basketball player with University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. A very good friend of mine, a good friend of one of my business partners in a project that we're doing, Be a Champion. So welcome to the show, Isaiah Bargenier, man. Welcome to the show.
Yes, sir. What an introduction.
I know, it's good, man.
Yes,
glad you're here, man. Glad your presence is felt. Man, when you were at my office, we were doing that talk about PFAS, the forever chemical in the
Crazy.
water and
Right.
causing cancers, and how my law firm is looking to help and make an impact with those affected by that cancer.
Right.
What caught me is in an audience of 15, 20 kids or young adults, student athletes, your attention, the questions you're asking, it's just that you see it in certain people where they're like just these characteristics that I read in body language that, hey, they are interested to grow their lives. So
Right.
that's why you're here, man.
Absolutely.
Want to share your story with the audience. And so with that, kind of talk about your upbringing in Houston. Your father founded Be a Champion,
Yes, sir.
and talk about Be a Champion and growing up in that environment.
Yeah, I mean, my parents, growing up in a house with two parents, they really paved the way, for the person that I am today and the person that I want to be. I grew up with a little sister. It was just me and her, just tearing the house up.
Yeah.
Doing whatever we can to have fun, but my dad, today's actually his birthday. He's getting old, man. He's 43.
Oh, man, I didn't know that.
He's
Okay.
43,
Okay.
so he's getting up
That's
there.
probably why we get along, man. Gemini,
I know.
Gemini,
Yeah, but, that's my guy. That's my best friend. We've been through a lot together. So, now he's like my best friend. He's like a shoulder to lean on.
Yeah.
My mom, man, I love my mom. Sometimes I get emotional talking about my mom because,
Yeah.
the things that she's done for me. But, just being there for me, just growing up. It was hard. My first few years of life, it was hard. My parents were trying to make a way, be a champion. They were always just finding new ways, make us happy. They tried to disguise, the real problems that were going on.
Yeah. So dig into that a little bit, like sort of what were those problems? Well, before we get, what is Be a Champion? And then, as you recall growing up, how it started, what were those challenges and things like that?
Yeah, so Be a Champion is a nonprofit organization that's came such a long way since I was a kid. When I was a kid, that's whenever it was first kind of beginning to start in the beginning stages. But
What does it
now,
do?
yeah, so they do after school programs, and they actually have this super cool, different sector of the business called Champion Athletes Academy, which I'm a part of. So, myself along with numerous Division I athletes, and I think we have some Division II and other levels, where we're all coming together for the same cause, to trying to make a change and be positive influences in the community.
Okay. So you set up after school programs with schools in mostly Texas, or is it nationwide?
Not Texas. So right now it's Texas, but so that's actually one of the things I was looking forward to doing, post college is trying to take that nationwide, man.
Yeah.
Nationwide,
Okay.
globally. I really love being there for kids and being a positive influence. I just love just having someone to look up to me, just trying to keep myself in check, make sure I'm doing the right thing. So
Yeah. So it resonates with me, and maybe that's why I get along with your and I've met both your father and your mom. Great people. Is my mission statement is changing people's lives, right?
Absolutely.
Law firm and everything I do. So making that impact as a nonprofit after school program is changing people's lives at the core.
It is.
And so you provide food, educational programs. Is it after school care or athletics or anything
Yep.
like that?
So
Okay.
we do everything: after school care, athletics. During the summer, actually, before I went to college, I was one of the mentors in the camp, or mentors. They call me coach, teacher. It's funny.
Yeah.
I was 17, 18 years old, but yeah, man, I was doing the athletics program. Running the basketball, soccer. All the kids would come out there, have fun after they eat. We also do like a food service industry kind of thing where, we'll provide meals for them, and then we'll do games and activities and stuff like that. And then after that, we'll do athletics, and, they'll be able to waste all their energy,
Yeah.
because, kids got a lot of energy. So just playing around with, there's a whole bunch of different, type of sports and activities and stuff like that.
And so you bring up a very good point, because you're sitting here 16, 17, 18 years old. You're like, what do I know?
Yeah.
But you're being looked at as a leader.
Right.
And so it brings up a very good point that you can be a leader at any age, right? So how did you take that responsibility on as a young teenager? Like what, were you thrusted into that and said,
Right.
hey, go do this, and you had to figure it out? Or did you have mentorship along the way? Like leadership skills, you have them, but they have to be taught to you, right? You got to know how to
Absolutely.
bring it out of you. So like, how was that experience being, you're still a young man.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Still 20, but
yeah.
yeah, I feel like the world is changing nowadays. I feel like a lot of people have to think on the fly and think on their own. But growing up, my parents always kind of gave me the way to kind of write my own story. So even with my sister, my sister was always looking up to me. So I always had to kind of be a leader and kind of, show her the way to do things. But I mean, I wasn't really thrown into that role. It kind of progressed over the years,
Okay.
So I would start off with I went from being a kid in the camp as a kid to being a teacher, like I mentioned. So I mean, it's kind of like it kind of progresses as I go on with life,
It
So
evolves.
I'm 20, going on 21,
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny to see how I'm kind of becoming like a mentor and kind of like a big bro to a lot of different kids,
Yeah.
So
Including Nathan, my
including
son.
Nate.
Yeah,
I'm actually about to go talk to him in a
Yeah,
little bit. I
yeah.
think we're doing a an interview today, but it's just so cool, man, to be a part of, just to see myself grow along with everybody else that is in this program and be a champion. It's just so fun to make an impact on people's lives.
Yeah, and you're being very humble about be a champion because, as I understand it, it's a multi-million-dollar organization.
Yes, sir.
With how many employees? Like, what's the, just to give the audience a perspective? What is the size and scope?
Yeah.
How long has it been around? Again, your parents started this when you were a baby, so like growing up in that growth. Like, how big is the business? And
Yeah, I mean, it started off with a few kids in the back room of a building, and then it grown to 900 employees across the state. It makes some millions, man.
Yeah.
My dad, I'm really proud to say that because you would have never thought it would the way it started.
Yeah.
My dad, he's dedicated. That's the half the reason that I keep going today is because my dad, I mean, still to this day, even when he doesn't really have to be, in the field and making phone calls, that man is always on a phone call. He's always trying to find new ways to expand the brand and expand, the business. That man is so business minded. It's really inspiring. So, I mean, it's so cool to see that, today is 900 employees and it started off with just him and, his business partner.
Yeah.
So.
And so it's doing several tens of millions of dollars in sponsorships and opportunities from major Fortune 500 companies,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's just crazy, man.
That's awesome.
So when you think about that, what have you learned in terms of skills, qualities, or traits that either you observed or actually learned to implement yourself that help that business grow? Because like you, I grew up in a family business. My parents, started a printing company with nothing, just like you're working out of the house, getting into a small shop, putting sleeping bags at the shop, working there 24/7, over time build a multi-million-dollar business. So through that observance, I've picked up a lot of things that have helped me. So similarly, what have you learned through that observation on what does it take to be successful?
Yeah, I think one of the most important things is you never know who you're going to meet. So I feel like positivity and kindness is really big. That's a really big virtue to have, especially in this day and age. You can meet somebody on the street and they could be a $1 million company owner, So I feel like just being kind and positive to everybody is really important because, like I say, you never know who you're going to meet. That can open the way for, other opportunities, other relationships down the line. So I think that's something that my parents always taught me young, was always respect anybody you're speaking to. Because, I mean, shoot, I met you a few months ago, you know what I'm saying? And you're the owner of this amazing law firm, it's amazing, So, like I said, different people do so many different things. And, I'm young, so I still have a lot to learn. But learning from guys like yourself and my father, it's really important.
That's great, man, because that's refreshing to hear out of, someone twice your age, twice younger than me by twice my age.
Yes, sir.
Because a lot of society, a lot of social media preaches like, selfishness. It's all about me.
It's a killer, man. It's a killer.
But you're telling me it's about respect and kindness and giving out, right? Which is very refreshing to me. I was taught at a young age, like, you treat the janitor as you would a CEO.
Absolutely.
Because you never know when that janitor can become that CEO.
Absolutely. It's
you know what I'm saying?
Funny story, man. That's what my old basketball coach, Coach Fig, he always taught me, sometimes you have to be the janitor to get to where you want to go. So I feel like these first 2 years, especially, like, being a janitor was really important for me because, I wasn't getting as much playing time as I wanted. So, kind of started from the bottom to wait for the come up. Being that janitor, like you said, bro, I mean, being nice to a janitor in high school, like, the janitor was one of my best friends. I was always helping them clean and stuff like that. So,
well, people don't know, man. The janitor got the keys
to
all the rooms. They got the keys to everything.
Man. So, I mean, just like I said, that follows right back into, building the right relationships,
Yeah, very, very insightful, man. Very
Yes,
mature for a young man, well on his way.
Thank you.
So you grew up in the business, and then, what's your stats now? Like, you're 6'...
Yeah, 6'7". 6'7".
Damn,
Yes, sir.
man.
6'7", 235, 240.
Big time hooper.
Yes, sir.
When did that growth happen? When did you realize, hey, I want to play
Yeah.
basketball, at least through college, maybe pro, hopefully pro. Hopefully I
Oh
want to
yeah,
see you pro, man.
yeah, absolutely, man.
Um,
Yeah, it's funny, man. Baseball was always my favorite sport growing up, baseball and football. But I started playing basketball when I was around 6 years old, and and ever since then, man, that's been my first love. I mean, basketball has helped me get through, I mean, the craziest situations, man. It's always my outlet in life.
yeah, give some example. Like talk about
Yeah,
that.
I mean, especially being in college. I mean, the whole trend right now is to go out and party, and like they say, hot girl summer or hot boy summer. Like I don't like doing that, man. I stream. I'm trying to do a podcast like this, man. I've done my workouts during the day, 3 workouts or whatever, man. I'll go and sit in my room, stream it up.
Yeah.
Do that, and then I go to the gym.
Yeah.
I'm really an introvert, man. I like people, but I don't like people, if you know what I mean. Like, I love people, love being in relationships, but sometimes, I kind of know the right decision. The right decision is staying in.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing good past midnight,
Yeah.
So, that's something that my dad always tells me, and then, that's something I tell my kids as well.
It's that balance, though, right?
That balance,
you're probably
man.
tired anyways. That's stressful,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So,
I come home after workouts, man. I'll be asleep till
yeah.
11 o'clock and then, finish some homework and stuff like that.
I feel you, man. So let's talk about that journey. 6 years old, you started getting basketball, and you come from a great bloodline. I mean, your grandfather played NBA, number 3 pick in the 72
yes,
draft.
72.
I had the honor of meeting him last week, and great gentleman, man. Like,
Amazing.
very kind. I can see where the kindness comes from, passed
Yes,
down through your dad and to you. Very humble gentleman, and very accomplished. So then 6 years old, wanted to get in the hoops. Did your grandfather play an influence in that in any way?
Oh, yeah, man. He was probably the biggest one, because, I'm still a Warriors fan to this day. He played for the Warriors and the Cavs, throughout his career. But, I mean, man, he was the biggest influence, knowing that he's been at the level that I want to get to. He inspires me every day, every day, even though he doesn't know it. I might not call him every day, but, I'm always thinking about him and, his journey, because he had a hard journey as well.
Yeah.
Way harder than mine.
Yeah.
He
shared that with me, actually, south side of Houston.
South side, man. Parents are working multiple jobs. They love their children unconditionally. He was pushing through, the stereotypes of, being a young black man in Houston, growing up in the 70s.
With no money on the south side.
Growing up in the 60s, 70s, no money. Making it happen, making his way, going to the NBA, 3rd pick of the draft, man.
Through the civil rights.
Man, all type of stuff. And then to the 3rd pick of the draft. I mean, it's already enough making it to the draft, but being number 3.
Yeah, and he told me he didn't pick up the game until late.
Man, he was a late bloomer. I think he said junior year in high school was when he was on varsity and really took it serious. But I can't remember if it was him that said this, but I think he said that his parents did not know he played basketball until later on in his career. I think I might be getting that mixed up with Kevin Garnett. Yeah. I know, but they kind of remind me. I think it was him that told me that. But I mean, throughout later in his high school career, I think that's when his parents finally started picking up that, like, man, like, this kid is good.
Yeah.
So I mean, that man, you meet him today, the most humble dude you ever meet.
Yeah. Definitely humble and really, really strong about his story.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people talk about, let me ask you, from your perspective, how difficult, because there's a lot of kids out there who want to play at least college ball. Nate.
Yeah.
Relate to the audience how difficult it actually is to become a college basketball player.
It's hard, bro. It's hard. I mean, hard is an understatement. I really can't stress it enough. And the hardest part about it is times like now when you're at home with the family, your dad's birthday, you want to eat anything you want to, you want to sit on your tail for days, man, not doing anything, just relax with the family. It's just that mental part of, like, bro, like, I gotta go work out 3 times a day. I gotta wake up and go run 2 miles and 12 o'clock, like dead hot sun, like beaming on you. You gotta do stuff like that because that's what it takes. That's really what it takes. I mean, it's super hard, bro. I mean, my first 2 years, especially my freshman year, man, I didn't even want to play basketball anymore. That's how hard it was.
You almost gave it up.
Man, I almost gave it up.
As big as that dream and that drive was, you almost gave it up.
If it weren't for one of my best friends and then my pops, man, I wouldn't be playing right now. Because, man, I told you, man, after practices, man, I'd have practices where I would kill, man, and, like, getting no recognition and getting no playing time, bro, that really messed with my head, So
yeah, so talk about it. So I want to get into that. So what was the first? I mean, everybody talks about the success, and I love success. Success is the result of the process.
Absolutely.
But what actually helps us grow
Yeah.
is the challenges and failures, right? Because we're learning our mistakes, learning how to change or make necessary changes to get to where we go. So we're learning through growth, through struggle and failure. Was it always an easy route, at least through high school for you in basketball? Like, when was your first major setback, or what
Yeah,
failure.
so I feel like high school kind of didn't do me enough justice, man. Because in high school, I was always taller than everybody,
Okay.
so it was kind of easy for me to rebound and score and stuff like that. So I didn't
How
really
how
have.
tall were you in high school?
I was 6'2" in eighth grade. So I didn't really
Shit.
grow too
Yeah.
much since
Yeah.
then, but I was 6'2" in eighth grade, and then I think I maxed out at like 6'7" my senior year. But
Okay.
I mean, bro, high school, many people might say differently. High school wasn't too hard for me. I mean, it's my freshman year and sophomore year, it's kind of the same trajectory. It was hard my first 2 years, and in my second 2 years, it was pretty much easy, man. I kind of got the hang of things, but I really thank Coach Nixon,
Yeah.
a lot because he showed me what college level practices would be like, so that really helped me. But man, it was tough, man. I mean, college, like going from dropping 30 in high school, 30 points, 20 rebounds in one game, to going to college where, man, you're getting like 0.5 points for the whole season. Like, it's tough, bro. Like, I think the mental part is the hardest part.
Okay.
Because you
Yeah,
gotta
dig into that a little bit.
Yeah,
Like,
you gotta
because
wrap
you're
your
probably
head.
playing your whole game, every game, varsity year
Yeah.
in high school.
Yeah, starting.
And then you go into minimal to no
Literally.
minutes in college. Like, talk
Literally.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, going from
That ego
varsity,
hit. Like, what is like?
man, that's like I said, it's the mental part. It's not even the physical part. I mean, you got to get yourself in peak physical condition, but like if you don't train your mind mentally to be able to go through those trials and tribulations, I mean, man, you might not make it. Because I mean, especially with Division I, it's all those politics and stuff like that.
Now
so
there's money. Players can get
there's
paid
money,
now.
man. There's money part of it. So I mean, you never know what's happening behind the scenes, but you try to do your best to do what you do. Be a good kid, never miss a meeting, stuff like that. And it's just tough, man, because there's no love for freshmen out here. No love, really sophomores too. I mean, unless you a 5-star getting paid, $150K NIL. I mean, it's tough, man, to really make your way. So, I mean, just like I said, the game is 90% mental. 90% mental. If you can't fight those mental battles and those feelings, like my freshman year telling me to give up, man, I mean, it'll be tough to make it.
So what tools or what did you use to help pull you through that?
Yeah, I mean, so like I mentioned, I think the main one is to find an escape. Find an escape besides basketball, which for me is streaming.
Okay.
I really love video games. I love streaming, but I had
But
a
at
lot
the
of
same time, people can turn to the wrong escape, right?
Exactly.
Alcohol, drugs,
what
partying, right? So talk about
Yeah, so I mean, the wrong escape, like I mentioned, is like going out past 12, every day or on the weekends, going and doing things you're not supposed to do. And I always tell my sister, like, don't go into college being somebody that you're not. Stand on your morals. Stand on the things that your parents always taught you. That's one thing that always resonates in my head is like, what would my parents think about me going out at 2 a.m.? Because I know I've never been that type of kid to just like stay out all night,
Right.
So, find an escape, find a positive escape, but I mean, make sure you have the right people in your corner. Because I was telling Nate the other day, I was talking to him at the runs. Salt looks like sugar.
Yeah.
Salt looks like sugar. Somebody could be telling you this and stab you in your back, man. So,
Yeah.
Find the right people that'll really do you justice and bring positivity and like the right guidance for you, because
Okay.
I mean, especially in this world, bro, it's tough, man. It's
So
tough.
so did you have to seek out those people, or you just were fortunate to have them around you?
Yeah, I mean, some people I met along the way, but I mean, the people that really grown with me, like my parents and like my grandparents, and I mean, I really got like a few friends, So like my best friend, I always had like a really tight circle where, those people, they would circulate.
So you talk about that inner circle, like, is that the same crew you had since like
ones.
your whole life?
Same ones, they never switched up on me, man. Especially my pops. My pops, he was always, like I said, my best friend now. So, I mean, I try to keep my circle real small. Like I have acquaintances and stuff like that, but man, like my circle stays like this, man.
Is that a common thing you see with elite athletes like yourself, or like you see?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't consider myself elite yet.
Come
I'm trying
on,
to
man,
get there,
D1
man.
player, let's go.
I mean, especially guys like LeBron. I mean, you see him out the way, you see him tucked away, just doing what he does. So, I mean, just having that small circle, I think, really holds you together. Because I mean, if you had 1,000 people trying to tell you the same thing, you wouldn't know who to come to when it really gets down.
Yeah.
Because some people are like a rocket, like they'll only stay on for certain points and then they'll fall off.
Yeah.
So. Like I said, you really got to have that people that really have grown with you to see where you come from and the type of things that you've gone through for them to really give you the right advice.
Yeah, and they've known you the longest, right?
Known me the longest since I was a kid, man.
So they know who you actually are, what you want out of this, right?
Absolutely.
So you go from superstar, high school varsity athlete.
Yes, sir.
You go to college. You almost want to quit.
Mm-hmm.
What was the like for me when I get hit with a setback I do more of what is setting me back. Meaning, like,
Mm-hmm.
you don't think I can play the minutes? I'm gonna go even
Yeah, bro.
harder,
Yeah,
right?
bro.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
mentality you
Oh
had?
yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna
Yes.
train even more. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get it. You know.
I mean, especially just being at school training with the team. Like I was angry, especially my sophomore year. I was angry. I had a setback sophomore year with a few injuries or like concussions and stuff like that. But man, like I was angry. I was killing practices my sophomore year, and I think my coach really started to take notice. And I had a really big game against Grand Canyon.
Okay.
That was my best game of my college career. Uh, but that was fun. That was fun because I really started to see the fruits of my labor really start happening. But man, I was angry. I brought all my anger out in practice. I tried to bring it every single day, and my coach really did a good job of, keeping a positive mindset with
Gotta
me.
channel the anger.
Channel the anger, right, right.
So that's a classic example of using what I call dark negative energy in a positive way. Like, I think, the desire to do something
Yep.
is a strong motivating energy force,
Yeah,
but the anger is a even more powerful. It's like I don't know, you too young for Star Wars or whatever.
I
man,
never
but-
really got into that.
Okay,
Nah.
but it's like the dark force, right?
Yeah.
There's but if you channel it properly, it can give you a large amount of energy,
Yeah,
physical and mental, to overcome.
the 3 C's. My
Right.
mom always taught me:
Which
cool,
are-
calm, and collected.
Yeah.
3 C's that I live by. So I mean, if you, like you said, you know how to channel that, man, you'll be a superstar.
When you were having your setbacks in your first 2 years of hoops, did you feel that there were forces that were out of your control holding you back, or did you feel like, hey, if I just trained more, played harder, you could control the outcome?
I mean, you got to control what you can control. There's always going to be things you can't control, unexpected outcomes, like NIL, there's always stuff that you can't control. Some people might be getting paid more than you, but as long as you do what you're supposed to do, like God will make it happen. God will put the things in line for you to be like, okay, like you did this, now I'm going to give you this, but I'm not going to give it to you easy. You got to work for it. So like you said, staying in the gym, getting up 1,000 shots a day, or however, like whatever route you want to take, man, just making sure that, you're ready for when that time comes.
Yeah.
You know?
And so you talk about this faith, you're a spiritual, religious gentleman.
Yes, sir.
How much of it is trust the process? Like, you want to give up, but like, what is that mental battle like?
Man, it's
Because I feel that in a lot of young, not just student athletes or athletes,
Yeah.
but just the young generation, where maybe they don't have that patience or the faith, or they don't have that trust in the process. I'm not seeing any results, but I'm putting in all this work. How does that stick?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been grown up in a household that was really big on faith. I mean, really big on, patience. Like I said, cool, calm, collected, being one with your emotions. So, I mean, going to college and dealing with that type of stuff, that part was kind of easy for me, kind of with the faith part. I really have some good pastors down in the valley that, I go to their churches every now and then, and, it'll just be a good word to get me through that month or that year, whatever it is. But I mean, it's really, I think trusting God and knowing that He has your best interest at heart is really important, because I mean, if you don't have any guidance, you kind of just like a headless sheep. You don't know where you're going. So I think knowing that God is always in control and He always has your back. I never really doubt it. And then especially having people who are uplifting you and kind of making sure that you stay on the right track. I mean, that's one to none. So
Yeah. So bringing that energy and enthusiasm, keep your head down.
Yep.
Just do the work. It's gonna come out.
Absolutely.
Right. And so, but your case is there. Hopefully this junior year you're returning to UT RGV.
Yes, sir.
And hopefully getting a more significant role.
Absolutely.
There's a new coach, new system. But there are those that keep the faith and it doesn't turn out. Like, what would you say to those people?
I mean, God's setting you up for something greater.
You just don't know. Can't see it.
You never know. God can give you something so expected, a blessing, or, something that might set you back that, I mean, you might have to work for. But, I mean, you never know when God is going to give it to you. It might not even be in basketball for me, So,
Yeah.
I mean, it could be something years down the line where maybe I get a great job opportunity or something like that. It's always going to come back tenfold,
Yeah. So that's that. Is that optimism, or is that just you just know that's going to happen?
I mean, that's just my faith, man. I mean, that's just my faith and trust in God. I mean, I wouldn't even call it optimism. I would just say that that's just my belief, man. I believe
That's
that
just the way
God,
the world works.
He always has me.
Love and goodness wins at the end of the day.
He won't give me anything I can't handle. I put
Yeah.
it like that. I mean, he won't throw anything towards my way that know, it's too much for me.
Right.
You know, so like my big thing was conditioning freshman year and sophomore year was making that conditioning test, and you know, I ended up making it. And
So describe to the audience what a
sheesh.
D1 level
man,
basketball conditioning
this was
test
making me
is.
sweat, man. Oh my gosh.
So talk about that. I don't even know what that.
Yeah,
is.
so I've never liked running. I mean,
yeah.
I know my dad probably watched this laughing. I've
And
never
to be clear, there's a difference between sprinting and running.
sprinting and running.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, so if you tell me to go run 2 miles, like cool, I run 2 miles. But if you tell me to sprint like 2 miles, that might be a little tough.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I mean, and that conditioning test. So for us, we did these things called down and back. So it was 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 11, 9, 7, 5, 3, 1.
So you go up to 13.
Go up to, and it's all timed. So I think the highest is like 8, 13 and 85 seconds, and 11 and like.
What was that again? One time.
13 and so 1, 3,
13
5,
down the court and back.
Yep, 13 down and backs. So you'll do 1 down and back, and then 3 down and backs, and then 5, and then 7, and then so on, all the way up to 13, and then all the way back down.
Damn. And how much time?
Bro, the highest is 85. So you'll do like 1 in 5 seconds, 3 in 15 seconds, like 5, and I have all the
And
numbers
down and back
memorized.
counts as 1.
No, down, down, down. It sounds easy. I promise you.
No.
First time
So
I did
down
it,
is 1, back is 2.
yes.
Okay, but still.
It's not 1. It's 1, 2, 3. So yeah.
Okay. But
so every
still,
line you touch is 1.
Is
but,
1,
bro,
okay.
it sounds easy, but oh my
well,
gosh.
you add them up. I mean, that's.
Yeah,
you call it 85. You're running down, back 85 times.
I mean, you think you'll get it, you know, all the way up to 9. You'll be like, oh, this is easy. And boom, that 11 hits.
Okay, so I was just going to ask you, when does the wall hit?
Sheesh, for me, it hit at the 9. I mean, like I said, running is, you know, that's not one of my favorite things. So it hit for me at the 9 where I finished at 7 and I'm dead tired. I'm on my knees like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And this sometimes we did it in the
How
sun.
do you mentally get through?
I didn't know how to mentally get through for my first year until I finally finished the test. But I mean, I really got through because I had my strength coach, you know, Joe Cron. You know, he was always pushing me. It was me and him.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't make the test. I was one of the last ones to make the test, so it was always me and him. You know, he's like, "Come on, Zay," and he was always pushing me. He never gave up on me. So, I mean, that really helped me. And then my dad, I would always call my dad before the workouts, the conditioning, because it was at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
It was at 6 a.m. and he knew my anxiety got really bad around
Was
that
it like
time,
that? Okay,
Mondays and Thursdays.
You bring up a good point. Anxiety in performance.
Mm-hmm.
How do you
Yeah.
get anxious before game, pre-game,
Man,
warm-ups?
I get nervous even doing something like this, man. I mean, I don't even like talking in front of people, so imagine trying to play in front of thousands. I mean, it's tough. So I mean, yeah, just that anxiety kind of leads back to that faith. You know,
Yeah.
God got you. You know, so I always say a prayer before the game, listen to my little R&B music before the game.
Okay.
You know, kind of calm my nerves, whether it be stretching or, you know, just getting a good workout
Do
in
you get
before
any
the game.
visualization in?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I
talk
kind
about that.
of, I see the vision because if I'm nervous playing in front of 2,000, 3,000 people, you know, hopefully my dream is to play in the NBA. So if I'm playing in front of 20,000 people, I mean, I can't be nervous because that's what I've always wanted, you know. So, I mean, I think those nerves, it is going to happen. I'm human, you know, everybody's human. So, I mean, just knowing how to get past that.
I remember watching Last Dance and Michael Jordan's like, I get anxious before every game.
Every game.
That's the
If
greatest.
somebody tells you that they don't get anxious, they're lying, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I know LeBron probably still gets nervous, but I mean, he's
Do you
so
use any
great.
breathing techniques? Any
Yeah. I mean, breathe in through my nose, out through my mouth. You know, just
4-second
kind of
box, whatever?
relax my heart rate, my mind. You know,
Okay.
just be still a little bit.
And then
you
do
know?
you visualize the actual performance, like the game itself? Are you running sets and plays in your mind and like, hey, this guy cuts here, I'm gonna do this?
Always. And so one of the benefits for myself was I've never started a game in college. So every time I went in the game, I was watching to see what. So the person that started in front of me was Aaron and Dalen, and so they were fifth-year seniors. So I was always learning from them. So maybe if they got backdoor cut here or here, I know that when I get in the game, I got to be ready to make sure that this guy doesn't backdoor cut me or cut across my face or something like that. So, I mean, of course, mistakes will happen, so you'll still make mistakes, but kind of just going into the game, kind of having an idea of what this guy's tendencies are, you know, with all the film and hours of film that you watch, you know, it kind of gives you an advantage, you know?
Yeah, that's crazy. So, talk about the seniors or the upperclassmen in your team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, because a lot of those guys are, hey, this is my spot.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then there are also some guys that want to share the knowledge and information to you. So how is that balance?
Yeah, I mean, my two brothers, man, Aaron and Dalen, I mean, they were like that. They were like, this is my spot, little bro. You know, this is my spot. But they also taught me everything. So they were always teaching me while always being hard on me, you know. So they were never easy on me. They were kind of like, you know, the second and third coach. You know, so it's kind of funny to see that now I'm one of the older guys. And so taking everything I've learned from them for the past 2 years, I have like I said, an advantage up because I mean they taught me everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's because
Then,
college
then
and high
there's
school
somebody
is
trying to
different.
take your spot.
Right.
So
I mean,
how are you gonna handle like what
I
know?
mean, I'm same way.
This is my spot,
Yeah,
right?
like that's my spot, man. Like, I mean, your time is gonna come, bro. But this is my time now. Like, I stayed down for the come up. You know,
Yeah.
I'm doing the steps. You know, that's worthy of trying to make sure I get this spot. But I don't want to give it to me. I want to work for it. So, I mean, if that guy works harder than me, that's his spot. You know, so I mean, I got to make sure that I stay on top of everything.
Yeah.
You know,
So you bring up a good point because at this level, as part of success, it's results driven.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can work your ass off, but if you don't put out the results, you're not gonna get.
Yep.
You don't get it.
Yep.
So it's all results driven. So, which is very it takes a lot of humbleness to say, hey, if he's a better player, he's gonna take my spot.
Yeah.
But you're gonna do the hardest to not give him that spot.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do everything I can.
Yeah.
Everything in my willpower. If that got to be, waking up even earlier than him, showing him what it takes. I mean, I do that, man. But like I said, I have a lot more anger from even sophomore year that I'm carrying into this year because, like, bro, I want to start now. Like, freshman year, I just wanted to play a little bit. Sophomore year, I wanted to play 20 minutes. This year, I want to start.
Yeah.
I want to start. I want to be a team leader. Like, I have so many different, personal identities that I want to cross off the list. And then I got team goals. Like, I want to win a championship.
Are these your own or are these?
Yeah, I mean, my own goals, and then, like I said, team goals. I mean, we're in a new conference now, the Southland, so, I want to first year, I want to win a championship. I want to get a ring before it's all said and done. I mean, conference champions, tournament champions, all that, man. I want to make the national tournament.
So, in your experience, though, basketball is a team sport.
Mm-hmm.
And the best teams I see, and as an observer, never played college hoops, is everybody playing their role. And it's not about me, my stats, my stats, right?
Yep.
How has your experience been in a team setting, and have there been dudes that was all me, that ruined, the chemistry, so to speak, of the team? Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be a cancer on the team that, sometimes takes away from team morale and stuff like that. But, I mean, if you really can get those guys back on board and have, like, a team and make one fist, man, you'll be fine. But I think that's what we had this past year was we had some guys that were trying to go against the grain instead of with the grain. So, I mean, we had a terrible record, like one of the worst in college, So that was really tough, especially for my freshman year. We were evenly 50-50.
Yeah.
So that this past year, we had some guys that, weren't going with the team and stuff like that, and it really hurt us, because, we have love for those guys. Like, I still love them dudes to this day. I still talk to them, but, it's kind of tough to, kind of have like a successful team when you got some players that are going against the coach or going against the game plan. It'll never work out like that.
Yeah, and that applies to life too, right? Mm-hmm. If you have a goal, as a mission, as a team. I use the boat analogy. If everybody's rowing this way, but one guy's rowing the other way,
you'll be stagnant.
Stagnant, right?
Yep.
Or go in circles, right? So in this regard, man. So what? I mean, you've talked about a lot of concepts and things, but kind of distill it down. If you had to say, you're on your way to success as a basketball player. Obviously, successful as a young man. What's your goal? Like, what's the main goal?
Main goal is NBA.
Yeah,
NBA. I mean,
is it NBA or bust, or like kind of what? Is there no plan B?
I mean,
like, what is like?
Main goal is just making it there.
Mental?
Main goal is making it there. I feel like if I made it there, like that would cross everything off my list. But I mean, of course, playing in the NBA is really big. But I mean, if you'd have asked me in high school if I was gonna make the NBA, I would have said like, hell yeah, like yeah, of course. But I mean, now if you ask me, I mean, I'd still say yeah. I mean, it might not look like that to people, but if you ask me now, like I'll be like, yeah, bro, like, I'm still gonna make it. God just giving me the hardest road right now, but I promise you, I'm gonna make it.
Okay.
So
does G League count?
Man, G League counts. G League counts. I mean, sometimes you got to get to the G League to make it to the NBA. So,
but does G League count as the NBA? No.
I mean, that's an NBA team. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
some players get paid for that. So I mean, just making it there, man, is one of my biggest dreams. It always has been.
Okay, and so from here to there, what do you think is going to be required of you to get to there?
More than what I've been doing. It's always going to be more work. More time in the gym.
It never ends, does it?
It never ends, bro. It never ends. Really no off days, So, I mean, I got to make sure that I stay in the gym, stay in shape. That's one of my biggest things is staying in shape. So, I mean, I feel like if I can get in shape and play at Division I level, man, I think the sky's the limit,
Yeah. And when did it all click? Like, because I know for some guys, and it's the same thing with your dad, right? Now you say now your dad is your best friend, which implies that before you were your own dude.
Oh yeah, I
You
was.
know, so
Man,
so
I was a
when
jerk.
did it click, like that relationship, or when did it click for you, like the discipline and what the understanding of what is required of you to get where you want to go?
Yeah, I mean, I was a jerk all throughout high school to my pops. We've always been close, but I mean, I know my junior senior year, he didn't really want anything to do with me, bro. I was a jerk. I thought I knew everything. So, I mean, now kind of going into freshman year, when I realized I had my wake up moment, like, oh my gosh, like I'm not as good as I think I am. My dad was always there, being like, bro, you're all right. You know, like just having that, having him there, that's when it clicked, was freshman year. Knowing that my dad is never gonna leave me, my mom, all of them, they're never gonna leave me, regardless of what I go through.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, all right, cool. Like, let me lock in. Like, let me prove them right. Let me prove them right. They know that I can get to here. Let me prove them right. You know?
Yeah. So that is in terms of relationship with your dad, which basically it's a 180, right?
Yeah.
Because whatever, man. Is it,
Yeah.
was it F off dad? I know what I'm doing.
Oh
Was,
yeah,
it's
bro.
like,
I've never been disrespectful towards my parents, but like I was, man, I was a jerk. I'd come home sometimes after a game or practice, not even say anything. You
Yeah.
know, and so my dad has
so
never.
it's just not me with Nate.
Oh no. I
It's
tell
the same. It's the
yeah, I
same
tell my
problem.
little cousin and my uncle, man, like everybody's gonna go through it, you know.
Okay,
And
okay.
teenagers are jerks, man. They think they know everything. So I'm finally done with the teenage years. I'm glad I'm done with
You're
that,
20,
man.
bro.
But I'm
21,
20,
yeah.
about to be 21. But
Yeah.
yeah, I was a jerk, man. I thought I knew everything. You know, my
Yeah.
dad is an old man. He's 43. You know,
Yeah.
just messing with him. But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's lived a lot more life than me. So why not listen to him? You know, so even I still have my moments now where I feel like, all right, dad, like I hear you, bro. But
Yeah.
like he's my best friend, like I said, man. So I listen to him, you know, throughout everything. And like he's matured so much. Like he had me at a young age. Around my age, he had me. So kind of being able to grow up with him
Yeah.
and me being his first like step at fatherhood and stuff
Yeah.
like that, like we both grown so much. Like he's taking huge steps in his like parental guidance with me and my sister, and I've taken huge steps with like my ability to listen and grasp concepts and stuff like that. So
Good for you, man.
Yes,
Makes my heart warm. to
yeah,
hear that,
yeah.
man.
You and Nate will be all right, man. I
Let's
promise
see.
you, y'all will be all
Hopefully
right.
it's not too late for him, bro. He's not 6'8", you know, 200.
Nah, he's swaggy though. I told my boys that's that swaggy Asian boy. I'm telling you, man, that boy got swag.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate
Yes,
it.
sir.
So then that's as your relationship with your dad, and then as a man knowing now what it's going to take to get to your goals.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a day where you mapped it all out, wrote it on paper? Like, when did it click? Like, I need to do these type of things
Mm-hmm.
and stick with it in order to get where I want to go. Like, what?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was a journey, man. So it wasn't a single day where I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this and this. Like, kind of when more situations started happening, that's when I kind of had the ability to adapt to change. And so, like, even having my dad and my grandfather in my ear, like telling me to adapt to change, and then the actual situations happening, you know, that kind of kept giving me different maps and, you know, identities of myself for me to be able to keep moving on. You know, so I mean, kind of making me the man that I am today. You know, I kind of know what I want in life. I still have a lot to learn. I still have a lot to learn, but I mean, just kind of knowing like my end goal and, you know, my main abilities and stuff like that, man, is super important.
Yeah. And so you mentioned earlier that you want, outside of basketball, you want to be a champion nationwide.
Nationwide, be a champion in all-in-one sports, man.
Okay,
You know,
nationwide.
my dad started all-in-one sports like 2 years ago
Yeah,
when I
talk
was in
about
high
that
school.
real quick. Yeah.
And that was really for my recruitment, you know,
Yeah.
because my recruitment freshman and sophomore year was kind of slow. You know, so he started that whole organization because my dad played college ball, University of Houston. So he football player. So he has definitely not basketball player. Pops, you're not no basketball player, man. He tried to say that he dropped 40 and 20 in a basketball. I'm like, man, whatever. But,
YMCA don't count, man.
yeah, exactly, right? So, yeah, but I mean, my dad has connections like throughout the wazoo, man. He has like thousands of connections. So he used that to make all-in-one sports. And so today I think he has like 100 plus, maybe 200 plus different type of athletes where, I mean, like he's never not given a scholarship, you know, not helped the athlete earn a scholarship. So, you know, that's his pride and joy. But I'd say more than being champion, man. That man
It's his
loves
pet project, man.
Yeah, he loves being able to change lives. And like I said, he's so humble about it because that man, he'll be there all day talking to coaches about players and he just, man, it's amazing, you know. So I'd like to take that globally if I can. And, you know, I'm in school right now with my kinesiology degree. I graduate next year. I graduate early.
congratulations, man. Keep
Yes,
going,
sir. I
yeah.
graduate early. So, you know, I want to use that kinesiology and communication degree and, you know, kind of maybe take it to NCAA certifications and stuff like that where, you know, now I'm certified to, you know, be able to speak directly maybe to, you know, different people. You know, there's so many different sectors you can do out of this, you know, business, you know,
Yeah.
so.
So you have the NBA route, you have this route, taking it nationwide.
Yep.
And kudos to your dad on the be a champion in all in one sports.
Yes, sir.
That's actually how I met your dad. But really making an impact to the community.
Yep.
And you can see why those two entities are so successful, because the results speak for themselves in helping change these lives. So kind of wrap up here, because I know you got to go to another video session.
Yes, sir.
What have you learned out of sports that you can apply to your goal with Be a Champion and All-in-One to expand it? Like, what top 3, 4, 5 qualities that you've learned out of sports that are translatable to the business world?
So like I said, like I mentioned in the beginning of this podcast, positivity will be the gateway to connections. You know, you be positive with everybody. You never know if somebody's a coach or something like that you know, you can use to kind of open the waterway to build more relationships. You know, relationships is the name of the game. You know, the game is also 90% relationships.
Yeah.
You know, so it's all about who you know. So you can make the NBA based off of just who you know. You know, like Bronny James, you know, he's super talented, but, you know, he probably has all these connections, you know, through his pops, you know. So, you know, just being kind to everybody, like that's something I'm super big on, man. Is kindness will go a long way, you know, and it'll open the gateway for opportunities.
Yeah. And then within yourself, what do you have to do applied from what you learned in sports to the business world? What do you think you need to do?
Overcoming adversity. Yeah. Overcoming adversity. There always be things that, you know, won't go your way. You know, there's always going to be something unexpected. You know, so if I feel like once the orange peel is done bouncing, I feel like, you know, if I'm able to just handle everything that's thrown my way in the business world, man, I'll be all right. You know, so it's never going to be easy.
It's adapt.
Anything worth easy is never worth fighting for. That's my quote. You know, so. Or anything worth fighting for is never easy, you know. So, you know, it's tough, man. So, you know, you got to know how to handle that type of stuff, man.
Yeah, man. Well, I am totally impressed, dude. Wise beyond your ways. Through your story, I think I've heard how to deal with failure, how to deal with setbacks, kindness, respectfulness, being willing to adapt. I mean, you did a 180 with your relationship with your pops, right? Yeah, you're moving with the process, learning, being observant, right? Seeking out mentors and people and being open to advice. I mean, these are a lot of things that a lot of 20-year-olds don't know about, right? Right. How, like, so sort of to wrap it up, I mean, that's a very mature mindset. So did this come to you? Were you taught these things?
It came, believe it or not, it came from my mom. My mom is former military, so she's an enforcer. So she's the enforcer in her household. She's super strict. You know, I love my mom to this day, man, because, you know, we could joke about the things that she used to be strict on me whenever I was younger. So, you know, kind of growing up in that strict type of household kind of built me to have these type of mindsets, man, without even going into the military. So she brought all those military, you know, tactics or beliefs and stuff into, you know, her parenthood, because she grew up with me as well. So she grew up, I'm her first chance at motherhood, you know, so she grew up learning how to be a mother, and I'm her first. And so now my little sister, she just graduated, so now the last bird is out the nest, you know, so her path with parenthood in this phase is complete. So now it's the next phase where there's nobody in the house, you know, so there's no children in the house. So, I mean, yeah, my mom, she was big on, you know, being a stand-up man. You know, my mom really taught me how to be a man for real, because my mom, if you meet her, she's the nicest lady, but man, she's strict, man.
Yeah,
she's strict, you know, she.
So for those young people that don't have that influence, what's your advice to them?
Find somebody. Find somebody that you trust. You know, there's always gonna be somebody that
reach out to be a champion.
Reach out to me.
Yeah.
Reach out to me. I'd love to be a big bro for, you know, anybody, you know, male or female. I love to be a positive influence, you know. So, I mean, there's a lot that I can learn from maybe the kids that I talk to, man. You know, there's maybe some new values and beliefs that I can learn. But I mean, there's always have an open mind, always be willing to learn. You know, always be willing to learn, because trust me, there's gonna be a lot of people out here that are real knowledgeable about a lot of different things. So
very, very cool, man. I am totally impressed. I have no doubt your success is in your future in the NBA and in the real world. Not that it's not the real world, but outside of sports. Any last words you want to leave with the audience about, you know, your journey, where you want to go, just anything you want to, you know, reach out there?
Let's fix the world, man. Let's fix the world. I don't like the path and the direction that the world is going, man. So, you know, anybody out there that's listening, man, let's really bring more positivity into the world, man. I don't like the direction and like all the negativity and the wars and stuff like that. You know, I'm not big for all that type of stuff, man. So Now, anybody can make a change, as far as a baby to a man who's 99 years old. Anybody can make a change in anybody's life. So, pay it back forward. If you see somebody homeless on the street, I love to do that, man. It's just give him a little something, man, because that he can pay that forward to somebody. It's a chain reaction, man. So always make sure that you're positive, man. Positivity leads to everything, man. So,
man, that's crazy. Excuse me. Yeah, you ask people to reach out to you. How do people find you on socials?
Man, Instagram is probably the biggest one. I mean, if you don't have my personal cell number, Instagram, _Isaiah Barjanet.
Spell Barjanet?
Yeah, Barganier. More people actually have problems spelling my first name, Isaiah, Isaiah. _Isaiah Barjanet, or Twitter, just at Isaiah Barjanet. Those are the two main lines, man.
Man, undoubtedly success is meant for you. I'm proud to be working with you as a college athlete.
Thank you.
With
PFAS,
my law
man.
firm,
PFAS,
that
man.
cancer awareness.
Y'all stay tuned in, man.
Yeah,
Stay tuned in.
Follow his socials because we're working with very, very upstanding college athletes like Isaiah, spreading the word on cancer awareness around this forever chemical in the water supply. Go to pfasinjuryattorney.com or PFAS lawyer on Twitter. But man, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Thank
Short
you, brother.
notice, bro.
I appreciate you, man.
You did a fantastic job
Yes,
for your
sir.
first podcast ever. I'm glad it was with us.
Yes, sir.
We have a gift, what we do for all of our
man.
guests, man. I know you had to.
There we go. Got
So
my
now-
braids
now-
in.
yeah,
It's going
you
to look
gotta
good,
represent
man.
too, man.
Let me
So-
see what this look like.
I
Appreciate
got
you,
the
brother.
N2N hat, bro.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for coming on the podcast, man.
Yes, sir.
Phenomenal job. Like I said, man, I have no doubt you're going to
Thank you.
succeed in whatever you set your mind to. You got all the qualities out of there. Very mature, wise beyond your years.
Thank you, brother.
And I'm going to wish your pops a happy birthday. But
Man, yes, sir.
thanks for being on the show, man.
Thank you, man.
Look forward to having you back.
Absolutely.
After your next year in basketball, I'm going to share that story.
I probably have a lot more to talk
And
about.
definitely
back
on that pre-draft day.
then. Yes, sir.
When you make it to the NBA, man. Look forward to
appreciate
celebrating
it.
with you, man.
Thank you, brother.
Cool.
Yes, sir.
That concludes this episode of the podcast. Hope you learned something from Isaiah and his journey and his pathway. I'm sure you have, because I have. Even having turned 50, I learned a lot from this young man. And that goes to show that knowledge and information and good positivity is a two-way street. So if you give it forward, you also get it back multifold. So with that, I'm going to end the podcast as I end my day. If you're new to the show, before my head hits a pillow and I close my eyes, I give thanks to God and the universe for another day to have lived and hopefully inspired somebody. So with that, I want to thank you for listening. If you learned something, and I know you did, please do share the show. If you're knowledge swole, share the show. That is how we grow. So be great today, but be even more grateful. Looking forward to bringing you another episode very, very soon. Man, appreciate you.
Thank you, brother.
Yes,
sir.
for sure.
Y'all be good, man.